Yamunatiravanachari Avanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavalabha Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Nandana Yashodanandan Raja Janaranjana Jamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe, Radha Madhava. Jaya Kodanitai, Jaya Mayapur Shashi, Jaya Kodanitai, Jaya Mayapur Shashi, Jaya Kodanitai. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Shila Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Almost falling asleep. Thank you so much. Yeah, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Okay, first we are reading from the book about Srila Prabhupada. It's chapter Let There Be a Temple, Part 1. After the 5-day festival Prabhupada left Mayapur for Vrindavana, where he planned to hold another groundbreaking ceremony. The Mayapur land was still completely undeveloped, and Prabhupada urged his disciples in India to continue collecting the necessary funds. It's quote of Srila Prabhupada. We are making a very gorgeous plan at Mayapur, and if you all together can give shape to this plan, it will be unique in the whole world. It will be a world center for teaching spiritual life. Students from all over the world will come, and we shall revolutionize the aesthetic, atheistic, I'm sorry, atheistic and communistic tendencies of rascal philosophers. So we must be responsible for this great task. Now, for a single moment, shall we be without ISKCON thoughts? This is a request to you all. To close the transaction for land in Ramanreti, Prabhupada and Mr. S. met at magistrate's court in Mathura. In the presence of lawyers, they completed the formalities. Prabhupada saw it as a Krishna's grace that he had acquired a good plot of land in Vrindavana, and writing to his GBC secretaries in America, he asked them to send as many men as possible to help in this new project. He described his intentions for raising up a very excellent center to revive the spiritual life for Vrindavana on behalf of Rupa and Jiva Goswamis. Prabhupada told Kshirodakashai, one of his Indian-born disciples, I want in this occasion huge prasadam should be prepared and every man in Vrindavana should be invited to take prasadam. 2 days later, with 100 people attending, Prabhupada held the cornerstone laying ceremony at Ramanareti. Again, he descended into the ceremonial pit and placed the deity of Ananta, on whose head the temple would rest. Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Canto 6, Chapter 14, Kinchitraketu's Lamentation. Text 56. Tvam tata narhasi. Yeah. I'm just trying to. Tvam tata narhasi cha mam kripanam anatham. Tata narhasi cha mam kripanam anadham. Tvam tata narhasi cha mam kripanam anatham. Tyaktum vichakshvab pitaram tava shokataptam. Tyaktum vichakshva pitaram tava shokataptam. Anyastarema bhavata prajadustaram yat. Anyastarema bhavata prajadustaram yat. Dvantam nayahi akka Runena yamena duram Tamnaya Dvantam Nayaho Akarune Nayamenaduram Tvam Tatanarhasi Chamam Kripanamanatham Tvam Tatanarhasi Chamam Kripanamanatham Tyaktum Vichakshva Pitaram Tava Sokataptam Anyastarema Bhavata Prajadustaram Yad Dvantam Nayaho Akarune Nayamenaduram Tvam Tatanarhasi Chamam Kripanamanatham Tyaktvam Vichakshva Pitaram Tava Shokataptam Anyastarema Bhavata Prajadustaram Yat Dvantam Nayaho Akarune Nayamenaduram Tvam Vesichamam Kripanamanatham Tyaktum Vichakshva Pitaram Tava Shokataptam Anyastarema Bhavata Prajadustaram Yat Dvantam Nayaho Akarune Nayamenaduram Tvam You Tata My dear son Na Not Arhasi Out Cha and Mam Me Kripanam very poor Anatham without a protector Tyaktum to give up Vichakshva look Pitaram at the father Tava your Shokataptam affected by so much lamentation Aina Ajna and easily Tarema we can across Bhavata by you Aprajadustaram very difficult to cross for one without a son Yat which Dhavantam the kingdom of darkness Nayahu Nayahi I'm sorry do not go away Akarunena merciless Yamena with Yamaraja Duram any further translation my dear son I am helpless and very much aggrieved. Thank you. You should not give up my company. Just look at your lamenting father. We are helpless because without a son we shall have to suffer the distress of going to the darkest hellish regions. You are the only hope by which we can get out of these dark regions. Therefore, I request you not to go any further with the merciless Yama. Purport. According to the Vedic injunctions, one must accept a wife just to beget a son who can deliver one from the clutches of Yamaraja. Unless one has a son to offer oblations to the Pitas or for the fathers, one must suffer in Yamaraja's kingdom. King Chitraketu was very much aggrieved, thinking that because his son was going away with Yamaraja, he himself would again suffer. The subtle laws exist for the karmis. If one becomes a devotee, he has no more obligations to the laws of karma. The end of purport. Srila Prabhupada ki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamshcham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Chinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare Yantah Pravishya Mama Vacham Imam Prasuktam Sanjivayata Kila Shakti Darah Svadhamna Anyamscha Hasta Charana Shravana Tvagadim Prananamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Ajanulambita Bhujau Kanakavadato Sankirtanai Kapitaro Kamalaya Taksha Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palau Vande Jagat Priya Karo Karuna Avataro Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahuditao Godudaya Pushpavantao Chitrao Shandao Tamundao Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Krishna Bhaktivinoda Santam Radhamada Sino Hariva Vishnadham Hare Krishna, good morning. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class. So We can see here the lamentation of Chitraketu Maharaj, how we have this in the title of our chapter. And his lamentation makes him really blind. We can see this. So he says that the one who has no son, he could not be liberated. And of course, in Vedic scriptures, there are such prescriptions that the son, the one who is give you a liberation from the hellish planets because of his duties to his relatives who passed away, for his seniors, how we call them, pitas. So that means like he's making some we can say just making some pinda to pitas, including his father. That means his father received some pious benefits, and this liberate him from the hellish planets, from the how it says, deliver one from clutches of Yamaraja. Srila Prabhupada says that according to Vedic injunctions, one must accept a wife just to beget a son who can deliver one from the clutches of Yamaraja. And yes, it works really. The son makes some pinda and he liberates you from the clutches of Yamaraja. But what if you've got only the daughters? What then? Or like the sannyasi. So does it mean that they've got no chance? For example, brahmachari who never got married. Does these people not be delivered? Does these people could not be liberated? Of course not. So that means the son, if you got the son, he can help you to be liberated. How it says here, unless one has a son to offer oblations to the pistas or for the fathers, one must suffer in Yamaraja's kingdom. And it's right, yeah. Chitraketu was very much aggrieved, thinking that because his son was going to away with Yamaraja, he himself would again suffer. The subtle laws exist for karmis. If one becomes a devotee, he has no more obligations to the laws of karma. And due to this lamentation, due to this that he lost his son, illusion came into his mind, and he can say that without the son, I will not be liberated. But it's not like that. How I mentioned that people who has no son, of course, they could be liberated. And this subtle law that you should have a son to be liberated by him from hellish conditions, it exists for karmis, how Srila Prabhupada says. So Maharaja Chitraketu, he forget. He had completely forget that he is devotee. He had completely forget that he's already liberated. So what we can see here, that he's really lament of his son. He wanted a son so much, and he get him. But suddenly, even he could not completely realize that he has got son. He could not just enjoy these thoughts that, oh, I've got a son. Due to this, he lamenting here, and the illusion just completely covers him. This verse shows us, of course, Chitraketu Maharaj is never in illusion. It's such a lila with the pure devotee. His lila with the Krishna. He shows us on these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam that deep lamentation is cowers person. And he's talking, actually he's talking nonsense here. So he says that, oh son, you going to the huh? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I didn't just like, yeah, sorry. I was no time to read previous verses. So she says that you are coming to this merciless Yamaraja, and please come back to liberate us with your father. But she forget that she has got a completely saint husband. You know, it's only they are talking about here. It's about their lamentation, and they just like put some kind of reasons, some Vedic reasons, but it's all it's described in this verse is just pain, such a pain which covers person completely. He cannot think about anything else, and he just starts to speak some kind of nonsense, just putting it in the name of Vedic rules and regulations. The same thing we can see here in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, in the first chapter, he says this. It's called, in Sanskrit, it's called Vishada Yoga. So it's a yoga of Vishada, of desperation of Arjuna, of his lamentation. So such deep feeling, which covers him completely. Of course, it was a lila to show us. So pure devotee never can be covered by Maya. And here, in the first chapter, he says, by evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Shishi Kodantar Purushashi Ki Jai. Driven by desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on battlefield. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken, on battlefield cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So we can see in the name of Vedic prescriptions, such people, they say kind of things, you know, which are namely correct. They are like really seems to be correct, and they are correct actually, but they are not mentioned in accordance to something. It's just these people speaking, and they are showing how they are, how deep their lamentation about some material achievements. And it shows us how these verses, they show us how deep could it be, you know. The people are speaking some Vedic things. They're speaking something really from the scriptures, which shows their, you know, how smart they are, how clever they are, how intelligent they are. They can quote scriptures, Vedic scriptures, but they are completely covered by illusion. So that shows us how deep it could be, our mind, how deeply he could be absorbed in this limitation. And even scriptures cannot help us. We can see here people are speaking quotes from the Shastra, but they are completely in Maya. It was happened with Arjuna also as well. And only the Guru, how we can see further, two sages will come to Chitraketu Maharaj house. The same happened to Arjuna. Only Krishna, who came as his Guru, as his spiritual master, and these two sadhus, it's gonna happen. I don't remember the names. It's gonna be two sadhus who came to Chitraketu Maharaj house. It's gonna happen in next chapters. King Chitraketu meets lords. Oh. Narada and Angira instruct King Chitraketu. So it's going to be next chapter. So they came, they instructed Maharaja King Chitraketu, and they helped him. Because our mind goes, when we are attached, it goes through this attachment like through the river. He just like accepts only these verses from the Shastra, which like he wants to see, and he completely doesn't see others. So that means the Shastra could not help us in such when we are really deep in limitation, unless we are in a very elevated condition. But Chitraketu Maharaj himself, he was very elevated. Arjuna was very elevated. But we can see that sometimes Shastra doesn't help us. We can read in such a deep limitation, but what we are reading here is just our own experience, our own limitation, our own, attachments, and that's it. And only Guru can help us. How Krishna helped Arjuna, he helped him to be delivered from this illusion, actually. In the end of Gita, he says, Arjuna Uvacha, Nashtamoha smritir labdva, Tvat prasadan maichuta, Sthitasmi gata sandeha, Karishi vachanam tava. That's the result of Gita. That's the result we are really meeting the bona fide spiritual master, bona fide Guru. On Arjuna example, it was Krishna directly. On the example of Maharaja Chitraketu, it was some sadhus. It was Narada and Angira Muni who instructed him. So, this is the result of meeting a sadhu and really hearing from him Shastra and, be liberated, being delivered from this illusion, from this Maya. That's how it happens. So Arjuna says, Karishe vachanam tava. Now I'm going to do what you tell me. I wanted to read the translation, to not mix up. It's 18th chapter. It's the end of Gita. Yeah, here. Nashtamoha, dispelled illusion. Smriti, memory. Labdhva, regain. Tvat prasadam, by your mercy, Achyuta, O infallible Krishna, Sthita, situated, Asmi, I am, Gata, removed, Sandeha, all doubts, Karishya, I shall execute, Vachanam, order, Tava, yo. So the complete translation is, Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. Tvat prasadam. I am now firm and free from doubt. Nashtamohach smriti labdva. And I am prepared to act according to your instructions. Karishya vachanam tava. In this optimistic verse, I should end and just clarify, is there any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna. So yeah, just a comment that it seems that this kind of theme comes in the scriptures again and again and again of, obviously those pure devotees are used as example that they become bewildered, but for us is a reality. But they on behalf of Krishna show what to do in those situations, and the saintly person then comes and helps out, or Krishna himself did it in Bhagavad Gita, where here we have Narada Muni and then Gira Muni showing up and kind of giving clarity. And actually, amazing thing that Chitraketu Maharaj was like, being a conditioned soul at this point, then later on it becomes this greatly elevated personality. So it seems those crises, difficulties, bewilderment, and etc., if it's kind of well handled, it can lead into kind of more advanced stages of Krishna consciousness.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. If nothing else, we can finish here.
Just if you could elaborate on the connection to the verse, please. I think about community projects.
Yeah. Just, is this a question?
Yeah. I mean, it's you quoted that to just if you could. I couldn't catch the connection with the verse with that one.
So should I read it again? Yeah. Or what?
What you quoted it in, like you were maybe explaining a particular point in the verse with that one. So if you could repeat it or elaborate, please.
You mean this from the Gita?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the evil, this one, by the evil deeds of those, it's chapter 1, 142. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Srila Prabhupada says in purport that community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by institution of Sanatana Dharma or Varnashrama Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in this society, and consequently people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who followed such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. Yeah.
So was that in reference to offering oblations to the Peters?
Yeah. Yeah, I was speaking that, that's really true things. They are correct things. They are spoken from the Shastra. But Arjun himself and the queen here, we can see they are speaking with these quotes from the Shastra by the in the influence of lamentation. And they are trying to, how to say, their motivation is to gain some material purposes, but they are speaking something spiritual, something from the Shastra, and it seems to be very nice and correct, and everyone accepts it. But the motivation is to gain some material, benefit. That was what was I speaking about. So, and also in my class I mentioned it, that that was my conclusion, that sometimes people are saying very nice things, correct things, very good things, and they sounds very nice, but what people are trying to enrich is to gain their material purposes, and only so they are under the influence of Maya speaking this. But it seems to be they are speaking it out of the liberated state of mind. And sometimes Shastra cannot help us, and only Guru can help us. The personality himself. He's coming to us and says that, my dear most Prabhu, you are speaking this from Shastra, but you don't understand what you are speaking about. You're under illusion, and just like wakes us up, and then we are really like awakening. So Krishna was like, he awakened Arjun, and also these two sages who will come to us in next chapter, Narada and Angira. They will instruct king, and so the king and the queen and everybody will be liberated and delivered. Really, yeah. Hare Krishna. So I think here we should stop. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Kodanitaya Purushashi ki jai, Shri Giridhari Lal ki jai, Tulsinath Maharaj ki jai, Shri Nisingadev Bhagavan ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.